everybody, my name is Jonny Rose and I am middle-aged and lazy, and this is my new video podcast. Today's very special guest right there with me, it's Mr. Bully Boy Carter. Hello, Bully Boy.
Yeah, you alright?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Got a lot of questions for you. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go straight in with the first one. Is what is your earliest memory of wrestling?
My earliest memory, I'd probably say, I think it was Royal Rumble, 91, maybe. Yeah, I think that's the earliest pay-per-view I remember watching, like as a kid. I'd say that's the one with Slaughter Warrior. Is that right? Yeah. That's my earliest memory as a fan. Yeah, I'd say that one. Yeah.
Yeah, where Savage
with
the center thing.
Yeah, that's the earliest pay-per-view I remember, because I don't quite remember WrestleMania 6, which was like the year before, wasn't it? So yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, January 91. Then I'd have said.
Was that the point you think you got hooked, or was that later on?
No, probably from that point on, because I remember like SummerSlam that year as well quite well. So like it must have been like, obviously back then we only had a few pay-per-views a year, didn't we? So I remember like every pay-per-view from that point on. So I must have been like really into it. I reckon.
Like big fan point.
Yeah.
Was it just something that was on, or was it something that was given to you to watch, or was someone else have it on the house? Or?
It was actually my brother's older brother's like friend. Like my brother was into it. He was like 3 years older than me, and then it was just natural for me to get into it as well, because obviously like he was into it, and I just kind of followed like what he'd done. So yeah, through my brother and his.
He kind of did you a favour, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he can't stand it now, but like.
How things change too.
Yeah.
So, was there a point in your life as a kid that you thought, this is something I want to do?
Yeah, like really early on as well. Like I was probably like, I'm guessing about 9 or 10. I always thought, that would be cool, because it's different as well. Like no one ever spoke about doing that when you mentioned what you wanted to do when you grew up and whatnot, and it was different.
You want to be a train driver or a fireman or whatever,
or a policeman or something, and this was just something that it was different. But a lot of my friends said the same thing. We're all kind of in a little group, and we're like, that'll be cool doing that when we're older,
Once I discovered I liked wrestling, I found different schoolmates,
right?
Because I found other people liked it as well. It wasn't until I started liking it that I found out that my mate Mark also liked it. I never really knew Mark, but so it was like making new friends through it, even at an early age, like when I was kind of 9 or 10.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in like an army camp, so there was only a few of us. There was probably like about 6 or 7 of us, and we literally just all got into it roughly around about the same time, I'd guess. And I didn't know that many kids from where I grew up, because like I say, it was only a small little place, so we're all the kids my age were into it, really. Like there wasn't many, but
playing wrestling.
You are?
Were you playing wrestling?
Oh yeah, every day, like back garden, like steel cage matches, climbing over the wooden fence to get out and stuff. You are?
Who would you be?
What, when I was a kid?
Yeah, who would you pretend to be?
Usually Warrior, I think. I'd probably Warrior. I used to just
like shaking the monkey bars.
Yeah, and running around the garden. I was fucked after like one lap and stuff. Just it was always Warrior. I was always like the Warrior. Like I always preferred Warrior than Hogan. You see, like he was just
like everybody. So like,
so that's
playing
probably
with other kids. Just go, it's just on the Warrior. I didn't mean to take your head off. I'm just the Warrior.
Well, Warrior done it, so I thought, why not?
Yeah. It's what I'm being. I'm in gimmick. So that was your earliest memory, and you knew you wanted to do it then. Yeah. When was the first time you did anything about getting involved in wrestling?
I probably left it quite late, I guess when I was growing up as a youngster, there really wasn't wrestling schools. You know what I mean? Like now you could go to every village and fucking city and there's a school on every corner. But like
so easy to find because you just stick it in Google, don't you?
Yeah. And actually, funnily enough, that's what I did. But it wasn't until like originally it was like two. I mean, I looked into it in the early 2000s, like maybe 2001 or something. Nothing ever came of it. But when I lived in Scotland, like 2003, 2004, I put like check the internet for it, and I used to travel to Glasgow like every weekend. But I never really stuck at it. That was like 2004, and just with situations I had and stuff, I ended up moving away. So I only trained briefly then for probably about 2 or 3 months. And it wasn't until 2010 where I actually started properly like training like every week when I lived like down where I lived in like Banbury, Oxfordshire, and
Right.
trained that's where like I ended up like going to Nottingham and stuff, and that's where all my proper like real serious training kind of started, you
Yeah,
know.
which
So
still people you're around with now, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much like generally, yeah. So
So do you remember your first match?
yeah, you know, it was like it was in a working men's club in Sheffield, and I've told this story a million times. It was for like I think I was like 28, so like I said, I like kind of left it a bit late, really, to really get into it. But yeah,
I was like I was like 18 or 19 when I started training, and I was old then. You
yeah,
know, there was 14, 15-year-old kids, so I was like an old one when I was 18 or 19.
And now I wrestle people that are like fucking 18, thinking about like the 20 years younger than them.
Jesus is.
But yeah, my first match was like it's a working men's club in Sheffield, and there was five of us traveling in fucking Paul Mayland's Nissan Micra. So there was five of us, and we're all shoved in the back, like three of us cramped in, like suitcases on our like laps and stuff. Didn't so we still laugh about this now, like how that car made it. I'll never know, but we got there, and I was as nervous as hell. Like obviously, like first match and stuff, like proper panicking and that. And I've told this story a million times, but like just before, I think we were on second. Malin was on first. He came backstage after his match and was like saying, "Oh, it was easy," like you know. And I was thinking, now like he's a bit confident, kind of thing. And I was like fucking bricking it backstage. And then I really needed the toilet, but there wasn't a toilet backstage. So it's like, all right, I have to go now because I can't wrestle like this. So I threw my jeans on over my gear, ran right through the bar and went for a piss. And then, like, I'm coming back and my fucking music's playing, which isn't like, you know, it's not like rare for that to happen. But so I'm like, okay, I better fucking hurry up. So I go to get my jeans off, but I can't get them over my boots because I fucking threw them on over my thing. So I'm like, my music's playing and people are like, hurry up. And I'm like fucking there and proper having a fit. Like music's playing over and over and over again. And I'm there, my fucking jeans around my ankles looking like a right fucking dickhead in front of her. But like 6 or 7 minutes later or something, I'm finally making my way out to the ring. And it wasn't a bad match overall, but yeah, it was just, I was absolutely a fucking nervous wreck backstage. It was so nerve wracking, but yeah, that was my
Were you
very
wrestling
first.
someone you trained with?
Yeah, I wrestled a guy called Chris who, like I said, yeah, we trained all the time together. So like and obviously back then, like in anyone's early days, they go through their first match over and over and over and over again, and just to get it right, kind of thing. And I've still got it on
Even
film.
not in their first few years now, to be fair.
You what? Sorry.
Even people that aren't new do that now, to be fair, don't they?
Well, yeah, a bit too much for my liking, but you know, but yeah, but like especially back then, it was we had it all down and stuff. Went out and done it, and as far as first matches go, it was all right. Like it was, you know, wasn't far from perfect, but for a first match, I'm still, you know, I've got it. I don't watch it back though. I've got it, but I still don't watch it
Yeah,
back. But yeah,
yeah.
done all
I'm the
right.
same. I've got some right early ones that I just can't watch, but I keep them because I know if I throw them in the bin, someone might get them out. You know, like I can just imagine like it's in the local newspaper or it ends up on internet or something that
Yeah,
some bin man's got this fucking video of the world's worst wrestling match that he's pulled out of a bin. So I can't
be
be
all
having
over
that.
YouTube and everything.
Yeah. So from there, was it Malin that took you places to different promotions, or was
Yeah,
it stuff you
yeah.
done yourself?
No, it was all like probably the first, like for the first few years, it was all Malin. Like every single like booking I had was through him. Like it was just kind of funny because obviously when you're starting out and nobody knows who you are and you'll contact promoters and that, they don't really, they're like, well, who's this guy kind of thing. So kind of Malin was almost like kind of like like it was just kind of very easy to get places with him because he was kind of well known and he was very busy, like, with like bookings and stuff. And it was through Malin where I ended like my first show was for Mega Slam. That's like who I wrestled for my very first show. And literally it was through that I ended up going on the camps and stuff. And that's how I've had so many matches in my first few years because of the holiday camps. But it was all through Malin, to be honest, like, and his training. Because if I went somewhere else, I'd have had a fraction of like the matches that I've had now. Because obviously, just literally went everywhere. Like,
just a bit of weekend thing otherwise, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And it got to a point where I'd have to book 2 weeks off work to go, to go away and stuff like that. And but no, it was good. Like, yeah, but definitely it was through Malin that I ended up, doing all that I did get to do.
So when you went on the holiday camps, you were pretty new then.
I was very new. Like, I had my first match in February 2012, and then I had a brief taste of the holiday camps my first year when I had a regular job at the time, so I couldn't take that much time off. I took like a week, so I did like 4 or 5 days on the camps my first year. But then the second year, like 2013, I'd moved. Like didn't have a regular job anywhere anymore. So I ended up going away for the whole and up until 2016, every year from 2013 to 16, I'd done literally like the whole summer because I wasn't like working a regular job. So that's
which would have been probably far better learning than any training camp would have ever given you, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I'd have said so. Like, like everyone, I've always been told, and I agree as well. Like, you don't learn as much. You know what I mean? You learn the most when you're in the ring. That's where you know what I mean? Like, yes, you can learn so much.
You can't feel proud from a gym, though, can you?
No. Like, yeah. So I think in the actual ring, in front of an audience, that's where you do most of your learning, to be honest.
Yeah, and against opponents that are better than you. Like, a lot of times when people are wrestling, like you said, the guy that you wrestled first was someone that you trained with. Yeah. If you'd have stayed like that forever, you were never going to get any better than you were at that point.
Yeah.
Because, I've learned from, people that have been there and done it, which is obviously something that you did along the way because you wrestled like Johnny Kidd and James Mason and the like, didn't you? On the, during those.
Yeah.
But, would you put people like that? Like who else was there? James, Johnny Kidd. I know you mentioned.
Like Johnny Kidd I wrestled Johnny Kidd in my second year. It was actually like my 100th match, like ever, and so that was fairly early on for me. James Mason came a little bit later on, like probably 2 or 3 years down the line. I wrestled him, but like Joey Legend as well was like my second year. Like the same summer I wrestled Johnny Kidd. Actually, within a few days I'd like Johnny Kidd and then Joey Legend, or like the other way around. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. I don't think who else there was, but they're the main names, like from
Johnny Kidd and Joe Legend, like two people that have done it all, but two very different styles.
Oh, very.
When you've wrestled, like I know myself from wrestling people that have done it, that even now I use things that I learned in those matches.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
is that I was going to say, it's the little things that you can, that you think. Yeah, I remember the first time I realised that was a thing.
Yeah,
or was it from people like that, or I mean, you can learn from anybody, can't you? You can learn from something fresh. But
you can. Like I always think as well that when I'm, when I watch other matches and stuff, I could learn stuff from literally, like say, from anyone. Like someone that's been wrestling like fucking a few months, they might do something. You know what I mean? Like, and then just from different styles, different everyone. You can learn something from everyone, really, and I have as well, just by watching it. Like,
it's a bit of a sort of an old school mentality, and it's only the old arsehole old schoolers that seem to, run by it. But if you haven't wrestled for a certain amount of time, you have no sort of say in anything ever, and that's
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
It's like at one point you couldn't be seen as a wrestling fan and a wrestler at the same time. How does that work? Like, why would
yeah,
you be doing it if you weren't a fan of it in the first place? Like,
yeah, yeah,
no other job would that be a thing? If you were a
yeah,
footballer, they couldn't say,
yeah.
"Oh, if you played Sunday League, you couldn't be in the FA Cup." It's bullshit. It's just one of those silly fucking old school
Yeah,
asshole rules. But
yeah,
there's very few that still agree with that, and I think the internet's out that because it's brought wrestlers closer together and a platform to show off that you are a fan.
yeah,
So we've done the camps.
yeah,
You finished the camps. You finished up at Mega Slam.
yeah.
What's your next step from there?
Um, I left Mega Slam in 2016, and I moved to Retford, where I am now, probably like 2000, just before the summer camps, actually. Finished up the summer camps, left Mega Slam. Then I was in a situation where I, I, I really didn't know what to do. Like, I had
Did you
no
think that
idea.
was the end of wrestling at that point?
The end of wrestling for me.
Yeah.
Like, no, it wasn't, because I had stuff outside of Mega Slam that I was doing, but not much. But then I just started like messaging other like promoters, and I started training at House of Pain. Whereas like I trained with Malin again. When I trained with him like previously, even though it was at House of Pain, it wasn't for House of Pain. You know what I mean? He just kind of like hired the school type of thing. But this time around, it was actually like for House of Pain. So I ended up doing a lot of shows for them as well. And then like I messaged you back then. That must have been 2016, 2017 or something. And
It's got to be 3 or 4 years ago, isn't it?
yeah, and I just messaged a lot of different people, and I think I left Mega Slam October 2016, and then in 2017 I wrestled for like another 12 like promotions that I'd never wrestled for before. So like 2017 was pretty it was pretty good, to be honest. It was different to what I was used to doing, because like I think you're wrestling like one way, like one like especially doing the camps, because Mega Slam, like I guess 70-80% of their shows like camps, like they do a lot of camps. And you could do like it's kind of funny actually, because I remember working for Mega Slam, doing wrestling a guy. It could be like anyone, like CJ Banks for instance, and you do the same match because you'll be in like fucking Bridlington one day, and then you might go down like London way the other, so you could literally do the same
Yeah,
match all the
exactly the
time.
same thing.
Yeah, and then I remember I had to get out of that routine, because I remember going to wrestling for House of Pain, and I wrestled in somewhere in Nottingham, maybe Beeston or Calverton, somewhere around Nottingham, and wrestled a guy there. And then we had an outdoor show up the road, like fucking probably 5-10 minutes up the road, like a little festival type show. Not many people there in the crowd. And I said to the guys, like, what we'll just do what we done last night, because I fucking do that all the time, So we're doing this spot in the ring. This fucking little kid in the front row, must be like 8 years old. He just shouts, "They done that last night!" Literally like the same.
Job's dead.
so, so from that point on, I was like, yeah, I can't do that shit anymore. So yeah, so it was totally
Did that
different.
make
Like,
your wrestling better though? Because you had to make, like reinvent yourself and reinvent things
yeah,
for you.
yeah, definitely. You had to like switch it up and stuff. I was quite comfortable, like at Mega Slam. I mean, some of the matches I had there, were really, really good, and like I had a lot of really good matches there. But like I say, I was like in a routine where, you know, I was kind of doing the same thing, a lot of the times, and now it's like, totally switching it up, and I think it helped me, and like I think now I'm a lot older, and not as quick, but I think I'm a much better worker than I was like 3-4 years ago. A million times better.
Do you think to yourself sometimes, like, when you had to mix your matches up and you learned more to put in those, to swap for the other things that you used to do you look back and think, if I'd have done that in Mega Slam, that would have been far better? You know, like if I'd have mixed
Yeah.
that up against it, you know, because I'm still not the best now. Like, but I was fucking rotten for the first 10 years. You know what I mean? Like seriously, fucking Dorothy. And now I've actually put a bit of effort in, and I
Right.
think
Yeah.
if only I'd have known that then, you know,
Yeah.
this might have happened.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, the thing as well, though, when I was at Mega Slam, and like I say, most of the shows were on the camps, you didn't really have, like, a lot of the times you didn't have time to talk about what anything you were going to do, because if you were
No,
doing, so you know, you do like two, maybe if you're doing two venues in a day, you know, you're traveling and that, you're setting the ring up, you literally have no time, like, at all to go through it. So it's a lot easier to say, oh, we'll just do what we done yesterday, you know, because you don't have any other, you know, any time to prepare. Like,
and if it's working, why change it anyway?
yeah, that's what we've done. And like, obviously, if you do something and you don't think it's working, you can switch a little bit here and there and that, but you know.
So you've done the camps, you left the camps, you've discovered other places, discovered a new style really for yourself because
Yeah,
you had to change things up.
yeah,
That
yeah.
brings us to almost now, really, doesn't it?
Mm.
So how's your wrestling schedule now? Like, I mean, I don't mean now in lockdown. I mean now in general,
It's
sort of
fucking
like,
shit right now.
yeah. Well, I think we're all in that boat, right? But you know, I mean, how's wrestling for you now? How do you see wrestling now? Like me personally, I'm the happiest I've ever been in wrestling in like 22 years.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not out
I
every
am as
day,
well.
but the people that I'm around and you know the places that I go,
Yeah,
it's the happiest I've ever been.
yeah, I'm exactly the same. I'm not wrestling as much as I have done before when I was wrestling for Mega Slam and wrestling, like, especially 2017 when I'd done all them other promotions and stuff. But with obviously doing my own shows now, like DN, it's like I think I put more effort into that. You know what I mean? Like, because I used to always contact promoters and be like, you know, I want, like, you know, just like trying to get on shows here and there. And now it's like I never, like, I can't remember the last time I contacted a promoter really, because it's not, like, you know, it's not my priority anymore. Like, my priority is like DN wrestling, which I'm running. So like I love doing like the shows that I do now. Well, obviously, like, once we're out of this fucking lockdown thing, I'm happy with like the few promotions that I'm wrestling for. You know what I mean? There's 3 or 4 regular ones that I go to, but like I think my main priority is DN wrestling and just trying to, you know, but
Yeah,
like
because that's your
yeah, and it's like I always said as well when I was at Mega Slam, I always liked the idea of running shows. Like, it was always in my mind, but I always said that I would never do it while I'm wrestling. I want to do one or the other kind of thing. But then when I slowed down a little bit from it, I think it was maybe 2017. I thought about it, and then I think we had our debut show in 2018, didn't we? So, you know, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna like do it because I'm not wrestling as much as I was, so I'm gonna have time to do it. You know, and I was working a regular job as well, which I am now. So it's like I've got the money as well and stuff. So yeah, but like I say, it's the happiest I've ever been in wrestling, because when I book shows as well now, every show I do, I have everyone I want on, don't I? So it's like I'm not
yeah,
gonna I'm not gonna run a show and think, oh fuck's sake, what's he doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Because
yeah. You know
because
exactly who's turning up, don't you?
yeah. Well, I'd like to think so anyway. You know? So,
Or not
so
turning up, as we found out before.
oh fuck it, oh yeah. But I never thought it would be as stressful as it is, though. Like, literally,
Oh
that's
yeah,
why I've gone a bit grey, I reckon, because I've only gone grey the past 2 years, and I think it's since I've been running shows. You know, it was fucking hell.
yeah,
But that workshop show that we ran, fuck, I wrote that card about 25 bastard times because people not turning up, people fucking pulling out, and yeah, it's quite stressful.
quick
This
last minute ring around you. So to date, then, if you had to list your most memorable, say 3 matches, what would you say?
my most memorable that I've had.
You know, if you had to show a DVD of just 3 of your best matches, what would you
Yeah.
show?
It's a tough one. I'd go. steel cage match with Malin, which was at Bridlington, which was like the end of our, like, we had like a rivalry for about 10 months. It went on, and the finale was like the steel cage match in Bridlington, which was like my title against his Mega Slam career. And it was just, at the point, it was the biggest crowd that they'd had there, like, for Mega Slam. And yeah, it was just it was my very first cage match as well. And it was just like the crowd were so into it. Like, I've never experienced a crowd like that, and they were so pissed off as well. Like, genuinely, like, when Malin lost, it was like, fucking hell. It was just, yeah, so good.
And it was clearly good for business because it raised the crowd.
Yeah, because we built it like
excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, we built it up for like 10 months. We had a steel chairs match before, a last man standing match before it. We had all these matches and like promos and everything, like angles and everything, and then it all came to a head at the cage match. And yeah, so that's definitely one of them. I think another one would be like the last show we done on my final camps in 2016. It was somewhere near Sheffield, I think, maybe Bayton, something like that. I don't know. It's somewhere in Yorkshire, and I was on with CJ Banks, and it's like the longest match I've ever had, like, ever. It was like, I think it's like almost 50 minutes, like 47 minutes or something, 48 minutes, and fucking the thought of doing that now would kill me alone, I think. But it was so we had what we would usually do in our matches, but obviously we just fucking worked a lot because obviously there's only so much space you can fill with what you got, and if you're doing 47 minutes, then and one of the reasons we went that long as well is because everyone on that tour seemed like really ill. Like the last day, like everyone was like, I think someone maybe had food poisoning, or someone was just thrown up. There was like 3 or 4 people. So in a way, we went like 47 minutes to like, to stop everyone else going. Yeah. So we went that long, and it was like, I know people that were there, like watching it, and they said it was like, even they to this day still mention it to me, like when when I talked to them, like that match you had then, it was like so good. And yeah, that was one of the matches that I wish I had on film that I don't. But yeah, the third one, probably the same. I think. Well, yeah, I'd probably say I wrestled James Mason in Holton Le File near Fleetwood, like Blackpool Way or something, and same summer as that one, and it was we went really long as well. We went quite a time. It was like a camp show, but it was just one of the matches. It was nothing special, but it was just like, looking back on it, we didn't do fuck all, but the crowd was so loud, like for nothing. Like literally, like we had a start that we didn't even do because they were so loud. So we thought we'd scrap that there and then, and just literally we didn't touch for like fucking 10 minutes because the crowd wouldn't shut the fuck up. It was, and it was just it was just like, I remember getting in the ring, like I jumped out 3-4 minutes later, I jumped back in talking shit, and I remember James just saying, jump out and shout some more shit. So I went out for another 5 minutes and they just wouldn't shut the fuck up. It was just it was great. It was like, really, really good match, and one that I can remember. Again, I've not got on film, but I can remember it like it was yesterday. So that'd probably be my 3, I'd say. Yeah.
Which again would have been a learning curve because you're learning the psychology of wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. But it was working with guys like James Mason that taught me that, like, guys like that. Like, yeah, and Johnny Kidd as well was a massive learning. That's the most nervous I've ever been in a match, was wrestling him. Like, I've never felt nerves like that, like, ever. Like, standing in the ring and Johnny's walking to the ring with his World of Sport music and everything on. I was like, it was the most nervous I've been. But I learned so much that day. Like, it was the only time, well, not the only time, but the first time ever that I drank a beer before a match because I was that nervous. Like, literally, like, wrestling him, I like needed something to calm me down. But within, like, literally being in there for 30 seconds, a minute, I was like cool as fuck. But like, it was just that
calmed you down.
Yeah, definitely. Like, but that was a massive learning curve, though. Johnny Kidd was, yeah.
Yeah, he's legendary. No
He
doubt.
is definitely. Like, I was surprised it happened, to be honest, because, like I said, I was new at the time. I'd only been around a year, like a year or two.
Yeah.
So, the fact that he was putting me with him was a bit, it's like, why me? Like, but like all these
Pay
other
it
guys
off. You know?
hit you up.
Worth the risk. So, of all the wrestling things you've done, would you say you've got any regrets in wrestling?
Regrets.
Would you change anything? I mean, you can't change things other people have done, but would you change anything that you've done?
I've done. Not majorly. I mean, there's probably times where I've been asked to do stuff or stopped or being stopped to do stuff and just kind of gone along with it. Like I wish I'd have probably, I don't know, like now I have a totally different mind, but like going back a few years and that, I probably let people like walk over me, you know what I mean? And just probably never stood up for myself the way I would now, like, because now I don't give a shit. But like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I let people kind of, take the piss, I think, quite a lot. And like, I should have just been like, fuck them. Like, you know what I mean? But, it's all like, I was just happy to be wrestling, like, and just wanted to wrestle and just get on with it, really. But yeah, that would be the one mistake. Like looking back, I'm like, yeah, I should have just fucking, like just said,
Told them bollocks.
Yeah. But I was just wanted to be wrestling and stuff. But I was like, I did have like roadblocks in my way from certain promoters. Like, don't, I want you working for him, or, I can't book you because you work for him, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty standard.
Yeah, it's a load of fucking bollocks, though. Really, that's like should never happen.
Yeah, surely you'd especially if you're a regular somewhere, you'd want your wrestlers to go other places to get more experience. You'd have thought.
Yeah, and
surely.
Like, I have so many people message me for bookings, and quite frankly, I couldn't give a fuck who they work for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care who they work for. There's people that I don't like and that I don't appreciate very much. But like, if someone works for them, like, what's that got to do with me? Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to affect anything that I do. So, yeah, but like, I've seen it a lot. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people as well, and it's pointless, really, and like unnecessary. But I guess that's how people are, isn't it? So,
oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we're the biggest sort of old school wrestling fans ever.
Yeah.
We stay up till 12 o'clock at night watching fucking YouTube of 1985 house shows on from the Philly Spectrum.
I was just about to say that, yeah, from fucking good old Philly.
But like, where do you see wrestling in the future? Like, do you think, like, is it got a long-term future? Is it ever going to die? Is Vince going to sell his promotion and wrestling fizzle out altogether? Or as long as possible, you're going to stick on shows, and as long as you can put shows on, they're still wrestling. That's the way I see it, anyway. That's my mindset.
Like,
as long as I've got a place to get a ring from and a floor to put a ring on, we can do a show.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever die. It'll always morph into something else, won't it? Like, I think it's changed so much over the years, but I don't think it'll ever like fizzle out completely. But like, I don't really watch like current wrestling. Like, I'm sure you don't really watch too much current stuff, and it's like, because quite frankly, I don't really enjoy it. Like, I'm not gonna, and also I can't keep up with it. Like, how much current wrestling is on now? And it's like one of the good
to keep up with it all, plus the pay-per-views. There's Raw and SmackDown, which are 42 hours each. There's NXT and
there's like 205, whatever it's called.
And the pay-per-views. You need more hours in the day. You've got no time to go shopping.
Yeah, especially if you're fucking if you work in a regular job as well, a full-time job.
Yeah.
When like, that's the beauty of like when I watch wrestling from like way back from like the 80s or whatever. I could watch it at my leisure. Like if I don't get time to watch it, it's fine. I'll continue watching it the next day or two. But now you have all like Raw, SmackDown, everything you're saying. It's like 3 hours each, or whatever it is, pay-per-views. You can't watch a week's worth of wrestling in a week. There's just
No,
you know what I mean. So by the
no.
time next week's Raw comes around, you're still on fucking another program that you know what I mean. It's like I can't keep up. So
Yeah. And see, going back to when we were kids, when there was Superstars on or Challenge or whatever you watched,
yeah,
that was an hour long, but it told you
yeah,
all you needed to know. What
yeah,
more did
yeah.
you need than an hour? It was must-see television.
That's
You
it.
know,
You know, like
I used to
yeah,
get the neighbours to record it for me because we didn't have Sky, so the neighbours recorded it for me. And if they were out and I couldn't get the tape, I was going ape shit because I just wanted to see what happened.
yeah,
It was
yeah. I
must-see
mean,
television. It was only an hour, but you could live for the rest of the week. It was hard, knowing you had to wait a week for another hour, but the suspense was
yeah.
worth it because it was
Well,
such a
that's
quality
what I
product.
done. That's all I done as a kid was that 1 hour a week. It was every Friday night, weren't it? Superstars.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure to be fair. I used to give the tape to the neighbours, and they bring it round after the weekend, like.
yeah, because I used to. I remember going to school, and every Friday night it was on at 10 o'clock on Sky One, and it was what I looked forward to every week. And like you say, you wouldn't see it again for another week, but they'd build it and build it and build it, and then like you're looking forward to the pay-per-views that come 3 times, 4 times a year. And it
Because of
was
all the hype. Now there's no build because there's
that's
so
it.
much fucking wrestling during the week. What's the point
Yeah,
in paying fucking $40 for a pay per view
yeah.
when the next night on Raw is going to be the same fucking show anyway?
Well, yeah. But you get pay-per-view every month now, don't you? Like, isn't it like don't you sometimes get two or something? It's fucking so you
If you
can't
haven't got
build.
the network, it's an expensive game, isn't it?
Yeah, but I
If
mean,
you're
you
an
can't
American,
like going
on
back to like building it and stuff. You can't really build like something now if you've got a pay-per-view every
no,
month. How
that's
you gonna?
the time. You've
You
got
are?
minutes to build it rather than
Yeah,
months.
yeah. That's it. I remember like yeah, what we got like four back in the day, then like five when they added King of the Ring, didn't we? And but like you like the whole. I'm going back to WrestleMania 5. You had like a year build, didn't you? Like Hogan and Savage and that. It's like
Like WrestleMania 4 when
yeah,
they won the Savage won the belt and there was the
yeah,
Hogan thing and
yeah,
great,
yeah. Mm.
brilliant.
And you look
But
forward to it. It was just like it
yeah,
was, because you got like little bits here and there on the superstars and stuff like that, little angles, and you got like the King Brother Love show or whatnot, and like
mm,
you could do stuff like that, and then you'd have like generally squash matches on the little shows, but bar like a main event type, type match or whatever. But you'd build everything, and then you'd wait them 3 months to see, to see what's going to happen and stuff. It was the
yeah, and you were
anticipation of
quite
it
happy
all.
doing it.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, like, wrestling's gone in phases with the sort of, the golden era of wrestling that was, our '89 types, and then we went into quite a recession. Like, '94 was a bit sort of down, weren't it? '94,
Yeah,
'95,
yeah,
and then we went sort of attitude-y, and then it
yeah,
was sort of hardcore, wasn't it? Like hitting each other with bins and shit.
yeah,
That was quite popular late '90s, early 2000s, wasn't it? You know, but it seems like there hasn't been a phase or a style change from WWE for quite a while.
yeah, for a very long time. Yeah,
They've had pretty much the same kind of roster. You know, I'm thinking, does it need a shake up somehow? But then again, what do you do that isn't new? They've done everything, haven't they?
they have. Yeah, it's a tricky one, really, isn't it? Like, where do they go? Like from here, really? Like, you know what I mean? It's
I know nothing is new. It's all been done before, but
yeah,
like, I really can't think of anything else they could possibly try unless they go back full circle and kind of go back Hogan style again, or go back sort of family friendly, happy clappy. But you just don't know what people want. But I don't know
no.
what
But
people
like,
want.
I always,
I don't watch it anymore. I don't really communicate with the wrestling fans anymore.
no,
You know,
it's probably for the best, really.
our fans are far from wrestling fans. Let's be fair.
But no, it's yeah. I don't really know. Like, it's kind of funny, like thinking about what they want now because every time I'll put Like, I have debates on Facebook all the time with people about stuff, and they're like, people will be like, well, they don't want to see this anymore. They don't want to see that anymore. And it's like, how the fuck do you know? Because you don't see it anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So how do you know what you want? Because these are the same people. These are the same people that fucking bitch every week after they watch Raw because they're not getting what they want. So it's like, well, you're clearly not getting what you fucking want.
They'll be staying up all night to watch it next week, won't they?
Yeah. And just so they can bitch on the internet again because they would have booked it differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they know what they want.
The era that we liked best was kind of more than 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be? Do you think there's going to be two nigh on 40-year-old men talking in 30 years' time? What's that going to be? 2050, talking about the great times that happened in wrestling in 2020.
I fucking hope not.
I just can't picture it. I can't imagine it.
No.
I don't think it's got a chance, to be fair. So, Bully Boy Carter, the man from DN Wrestling, where can we find you, or should we need you? You know, what's your social media outlet? How do we book Bully Boy Carter? How do we book tickets for DN Wrestling?
It's all basically the only thing I have is Facebook. I don't do that Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. So it's basically on Facebook, Bully Boy Carter or DN Wrestling, and that's basically where you know, I'm always posting on like the DN Wrestling page anyway. I'm posting all the time, so that's where you get all the info.
All the rich promoters with lots of money to burn need to get in touch with Bully Boy Carter for a booking, and then all the Retford-based wrestling fans need to get in touch with DN Wrestling for tickets, right?
That's right, yeah.
It's about the side.
You are.
Well, we've had a cracking little 45-minute chat here, Bully Boy Carter. We've put the world to rights.
Oh, we have.
We know absolutely nothing about the future of WWE. Pretty much because we don't give a fuck. So that's what I reckon.
Quite accurate, to be fair.
But it's been cracking talking to you.
Yeah, it's been.
And we'll do it again sometime, I'm sure.
Definitely.
This is going to be going on YouTube and the Facebook page tonight, Tuesday.
Cool.
Friday night, I've got Joe Kazana that was with World Championship Wrestling and Smoky Mountain and USA Championship Wrestling and so many other places. So if you're enjoying this one, check us out on Friday for Joe Kazana. Thank you, Bully Boy Carter.
Cheers.
I will see you very soon. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
See you again soon.
Right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.